Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Entheogenic Esquire Podcast YouTube channel. I am attorney Greg Lake. Adam Thomas should be here shortly. I think he's still rounding up all his children at this time, so we will give him a grace period. And anyways, I'm going to be presenting, I guess, the first part of this. So his absence for the first part is no big deal. As indicated, tonight we're going to be talking about a potential. Actually, I think we should expand our notion or concept of the Cameragate scandal, okay? I know that this thing has been going since Candace really pointed this out. I don't know. I think it was in November whenever she did her original Cameragate episode. And then I kind of picked this up and ran with it here, I guess probably a week or so ago in the context, right? My journey into examining the Cameragate really had to do with examining Tyler Robinson's right to due process and how the crime scene handling and eventual cover-up played into that equation. Okay. And so if we recap real quick, the Cameragate scandal we've been talking about was obviously Terrell Farnsworth, who is a TPUSA contractor for audio and video. I know definitely that day, I think he had been working with TPUSA for quite some time. And so as many are aware, it was a complete disaster, a debacle, more or less, of how this crime scene was handled. And now let me retract that. How the rooftop was handled, right, where Tyler Robinson was allegedly at, that was treated with a lot of respect, right? And apparently they gained a lot of evidence from it. To date, I have not seen the state or anyone else produce any bit of evidence from what I would consider the epicenter of the crime scene, which would have been under the tent where Charlie Kirk was sitting at the time. Okay. And so we've reviewed video. We've looked at pictures of Terrell Farnsworth. This was obviously also shown with Candace and other people as well. Terrell and the guy that was working with them were basically in the crimes. I say in and around. They were in and around, but mostly in the crime scene, the epicenter of the crime scene, starting approximately like 3 or 4 minutes after the incident, bleeding all the way into, I don't know. I think they were there grabbing stuff, doing things for maybe 7, 8 to 10 minutes after the event. And so to date, we had been looking at really, I think there was a total of 3 cameras, really, if I recall correctly. And we can look at it again here in a second. These other photos we'll be looking again. But, 1 or 2 cameras which were kind of installed or implanted above and behind Charlie, looking down at him. And then there was another camera, if we recall correctly, at the front left that was looking directly at him. We've seen video, and we'll see some photos today of, again, Terrell Farnsworth picking Charlie's chair up, putting it back up, and then stepping on top of that chair at a crime scene, stepping on that chair and grabbing the cameras and the SD cards from back behind Charlie. And then there was a period where some things were going on, and then we see Terrell Farnsworth come back and grab the SD card out of the front camera, which was at, hey, how y'all doing? And hello, everybody. I apologize for not, and Adam's here, by the way, so I'm going to let him in. Hey, Adam, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been one of those days.
Yeah. What do you want to do? You want to say an intro real quick, or do you want me to keep going? What do you want to do?
Yeah, we'll just, whatever you want to do. You can pick up, or we can just keep going like right where you're at, or it don't matter to me.
Okay, let me finish this little opening piece real quick, and then we'll take a break and talk for a second, and then we'll jump into some of the photos and stuff that I have. Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, anyways, Terrell, we went over, we saw the grabbing of these SD cards to the cameras. And anyways, so as I kept investigating, and hats off to some of my subscribers who've been pointing other things out, sending them to me, I was reminded, going back over the video and looking at these pictures, that there was actually a third camera in and around Charlie, which was I guess back to his left. There was another camera that was really facing out into the crowd, but presumably having a much broader view. So we're going to look at this. I
forgot about that.
Say it again.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so there was one of my subscribers sent me a series of pictures, re-examining it, taking a look at it. There was at one time an African American man who was doing the camera work behind it, but I think after a while they kind of dissipated. And then, as we'll see, there's photos of after the incident when everyone's taking care of Charlie. It's still standing up there, even though it's kind of crazy because there was a lot of action around it.
If you
But
can call
anyways,
that taking care of Charlie.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But as we'll see, and to be honest with you, this camera in the context of, because as we've discussed, when we're talking about Tyler Robinson's due process rights, in order for them to really have a chance at leveling the playing field, they're going to need to show that the evidence on these cameras and other evidence that was destroyed, could have been culpable, could have been exculpatory for Tyler. Okay. And
right.
anyways, what I found, what was sent to me basically, and we'll take a look, is that this camera that was behind Charlie. Now, we don't know exactly where the focus was or anything like that, but judging by the cameras and where this one camera was facing at the time, it seems to me that it could have very well
caught something.
Yeah, it could have had the alleged sniper post in view at the time of the incident.
I got you.
And you say that you remember this camera, Adam, that I'm talking about?
I do remember there being a third camera now that you say that, but nobody's really mentioned it. And I hadn't thought anything else about it. So, but I do believe I remember there being a third camera.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll pull it up real quick. And
does he pull the card out of it?
Well, that's one thing. So before we get started, I'll say this before we get going is, looking at there is no direct footage like there is the other two cameras of Terrell Farnsworth manipulating this camera in any way. However, when he puts the chair down to get the back two cameras, you can see this on the ground up under the chair. Now, in Adam Life is Driving's video, he pans away for a little bit, and Terrell and his companion there, I don't know really what they're doing. Now, after that, Adam, and again, we'll see all this. I'm just kind of laying the groundwork here. Adam, he's kind of pushed back up into the area closer to the building, and when he pans back down, it's kind of weird because there's shade right there, and it's a black camera, so you can't really see 100% whether that camera is gone or not. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'll let y'all be the judge. But the way I'm looking at it, I think it was removed. Again, we don't have footage of Terrell Farnsworth removing it, but if indeed, everyone's opinion is, it doesn't look like it's there anymore. It was certainly moved in and around the time that Terrell Farnsworth and his companion were there.
You could probably, it'd probably be a safe assumption that if it did get moved, then it would have been him.
Well, exactly.
Most likely anyway.
Yeah, I think it is too. Again, but I'm not going to conclude that per se as a fact just because we don't know. Now and I'm glad we're having this discussion. Terrell has admitted to Candace and others, and the TPUSA crew has talked about it on that, piece of a stream that we saw. They have admitted that they, took these SD cards and then the two cameras up top. Now, again, I don't think this
to preserve it.
Yeah. I don't think this has been specifically mentioned in any of those conversations that have been had. And so I don't know if it would be fair to lump it in like it was just kind of assumed that it was or not. What's your take on that? What's your thought?
I mean, I've never heard him specify how many of the cameras he pulled cards out of. I mean, I just know that he admitted to pulling the cards out of the cameras. So, I mean, unless he states otherwise, I'm going to assume that he got all of the cards out of all of the cameras.
And one thing I'll say is admittedly, whenever it was taken, obviously a lot of people have speculated, theorized that there was some type of motive, like reason why he would want to take those videos out of there. And, I always thought if that's the case, that there was some kind of ill motive there, right? This hadn't been established as fact. But, you always think, well, why would it have been? And obviously with the camera behind and the camera in front, I thought, well, because the injuries, it shows the injuries and the incident maybe in a much more
Yeah,
clear.
but so did 3,000 other cameras. I mean, come on.
I know, I get it. But
I mean,
this, go
I
ahead.
could see them using that, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of moot.
Well, with this camera, and granted, it was at least partially pointed out to me in a series of emails that this very well might have actually, if indeed, as the state claims this was the deal, that Tyler took the sniper position, and we'll look at the line of sight in a second. If indeed that's true, well, it very well. I mean, not saying it would have been, zoomed in on him per se. I mean, I would doubt that, but even if it's kind of, looking at the crowd, there would have been some type of movement that could have been seen from.
I'm sure it was a 4K camera. Well, we know. I mean, it was. All the other ones were. I mean, so yeah, I'm sure that even if it wasn't zoomed in, focused on that rooftop, I think it's fair to say that it probably would have at least gotten something.
Yeah. So I just pulled up a picture of the camera in question here. Obviously we see the two ones, and I guess right here, the thought being that, and we'll look at the line of sight in a second. I think those two cameras behind him would have been too far up into the tent structure to have a view out in that direction that far. But again, based upon where I'm looking right now, in relation to where everything else is, this camera's angle seems like it would have probably caught, if indeed he was there.
Yeah, I think so. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, we know that rooftop got picked up by tons of cameras. I mean, and there was one literally right there, just right there at the roof. But instead of being in, UVU's possession, then, this would mean that Turning Point actually has footage, if indeed, it's in such a place that it could catch that rooftop.
Yeah. So anyways, right now we're looking at a picture of the camera. This was before, and to be quiet, let's look at this real quick though, just so that way we can, here goes let me do this. Here is a picture. Again, thank you to one of my and as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, the guy that I've been emailing with, that's one of my longtime subscribers, is a former law enforcement officer. He's been very helpful with, because to be honest, I'm learning a lot about the specifics of crime scene because we all watch it on TV, right? But then to go and actually look at the manual and look at the specifics, he's been a lot of help. And he put me on to this, right? And so this is a line of sight from allegedly where Tyler Robinson was prone at the time of the incident. Does this look correct to you, Adam?
Yeah, that looks like it.
So with that being said, I mean, and let me see if I can, man, I don't know if I can zoom in on this like this. Man, I wish I had the technology down better. I'm sorry, y'all. But if we look at the tip of my mouse here, I think that would have been roughly where that camera would have been positioned. I mean, does that look?
I'm not seeing your mouse.
Oh, you're cursor. Not? Maybe it doesn't show up on there. Let me see.
No, you have to put it on the image itself to show up on the.
Oh, okay. Okay, give me just a second. Let me see.
Instead of holding it on where it's displayed, you've got to put the cursor down there on where you share it at.
Well, let me do this then. Hold on just one second. I know how to do it.
Oh yeah, while he's doing that, hey, Miss Susan and hey Rick, I seen the haze in the comments.
Yeah, we got our solids here with us.
Yeah, gotta love the solids.
Yeah, thank y'all very much for the support. It means a lot.
Yes.
Okay, I think I know what to do now. So let me remove this real quick, and then we'll do it like this. Oh. Mm-hmm. So I have to actually like share the screen and then pull it up and do it. So yeah. So let me do that. Okay. All right. Okay. So now, right. And I can actually zoom in now.
Yeah. Okay. It's a learning curve. There, look at there. Look at there. My God.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we turned into a high IQ outfit.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm getting better and better. So here we go. So yeah, this camera would have been
Look
right
at how
in this.
close it is to the corner of that, though. I've always thought about that. Like of all the places, there to me, it seemed like there would have been better places to lay, but
Yeah, and not only that, to me, it just seems like how did someone miss this? There were
no,
students everywhere. Like
well,
how
I
did
mean,
they miss?
honestly, they didn't. I mean, there was people pointing at him. There's videos of him laying up there, or somebody laying up there.
Yeah,
Have you
somebody
seen
laying up
those?
there. Yeah, but anyways,
Just
so
like
for right
in
now, go
Butler,
ahead.
they're like, "Hey, somebody's laying up there."
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, this would have been, I think, the approximate position of that camera just on the inside of this back corner. And so,
Right?
even if we say maybe this would have provided a little bit of blockage,
Yeah.
if he stood up or moved around any, it would have caught at least a blip of him. I mean,
Yeah.
would you agree with that? And again,
Yeah, it
that's if
should
the
have.
focus and all that was
Right.
correct.
Yep. I'd say
Um,
there's a pretty good chance it could have at least caught him, at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why, so again, that's why I wanted to bring this up. Cameragate expanded. Um,
Hey.
and so now, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah,
Yeah.
Cameragate.
So, so here we're just kind of establishing that, there is a reasonable probability that, that camera that we were just looking at, and we're going to look here in just a second at images after the event. There's a good chance that that could have caught, whoever was allegedly, whether Tyler or whoever, allegedly the shooter here on the rooftop.
Yeah, and one other thing too. I mean, so that line it helps, but from that picture like that, it's really hard to tell about the elevations of everything. I mean, as far as we know, that camera could have seen right under
Yeah.
that part of that roof where it sticks out there. So, I mean, unless you're either looking at it from the side, where you can see where that line intersects the other direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, and at the
You
end of the
could
day,
possibly
too,
seen under it, or
well, and we got to consider, too, what was going through Terrell's mind at the time. Um, I doubt that he had time to go and roll it back and look at everything.
no.
Right? You know what I mean? And so again, and like I say, we don't know 100% whether this camera was doing that. We don't know 100% whether Terrell Farnsworth had that in mind, or that, that he had in mind that these cameras caught something that he, they didn't want them to see. But again, I think at this juncture, considering that he did remove stuff from the crime scene. And so, and I know, and we'll talk about this towards the end, there's a big debacle about us talking about this, raising question, things like that. But all I'm going to say is this: when you remove evidence from a crime scene like that, especially, and I've also discussed that even the prosecution considers impliedly this forensic digital evidence to be of superior importance in their whole evidentiary bag. So,
right. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like yeah, he wasn't considering what each of the three cameras could have or could have not picked up. I'm pretty sure he was just like, I got to get the cards.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he'd have thought the camera was off, I mean, just to be safe, he probably would have still got the card. So,
well, presumably so. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So here is a picture. This was obviously immediately after. And again, there's the camera in question right here. And I know it's kind of blurry. We're not able to see exactly where this was aimed per se, but just to show, here it is after the incident, still standing. Let's move to the next one here.
It's hard to tell, obviously. Well, we can't tell for sure from that shot, but it's kind of low. There's a good chance it may have seen right under that ledge.
Yeah. I definitely think, writing that off like it didn't would be certainly, it's it sucks because I wish that we I wish we were able to see it.
Well, I mean, we could actually, just so you know. I hate to admit it, but one good thing that Mr. Paramount Tactical did was, he went out there and paid that money to that guy and mapped it with the drone.
Oh, okay. So he actually got a professional out there to like map it?
Yes. And I'd have to go back to see. I can't remember what the website and stuff is, but no, it's a fully interactive, map with, not just 360, but literally, you can turn it up around and you can add your own lines and stuff. So you can see the exact elevations. Like,
Okay.
you can accurately look at those things. So we ought to do that. Figure out where that's at.
Okay. Yeah. If you can,
I'd have to go back and put myself through the torture of listening to that episode.
Oh yeah.
Where he tells that.
Yeah. So here's a picture. Obviously, we can kind of tell when this was. And again, I can't believe that this camera stood through. And I'm fixing to show you a picture where it's falling.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously, this is a
with
complete
all the commotion back there.
Yeah, all the commotion back there. Notice these hats real quick. These hats, because I'm going to look. One other thing I'm going to show y'all are some pictures of how other people at this crime scene were treated. Okay, and it has to do. Y'all might be aware, but we'll get to that in just a second.
Talking about the hats, I know Barron put out a request for one. I don't know. Did you?
He is looking for the hats, and I don't blame him.
I wondered if anybody ever hit him up.
All right, let's see. So here.
I mean, he's getting quite a bit of reach now, so maybe the right person at some point will get the message.
Yeah. And then here is a picture of the camera starting to fall. Okay. Starting to fall there. Again, I don't have, and I'm sure it's probably out there. These are probably screenshots, but I would imagine there's a video out there showing the camera actually falling down. But we're about to look at it down on the ground here in just a second. So again, just trying to show the progression here of, how it got to where it is. We're going to look at this. All right. All right, so here we go. I'm getting pretty good managing all these different screen shares here. Hey, at least I haven't shared it and acted like I did and started talking, running my mouth.
Well, we're not watching video now, but just be careful you don't pull a Baron Coleman and.
Yeah, I did the first time. Yeah, I sure did. Okay,
I've never done that. Thank God. Knock on wood.
Yes, because you got it together better than me and Baron do, apparently. All right, so here is so obviously this is what we call the heart of the Cameragate scandal right here. This is the peak time of the Cameragate. Hey, Susan. Baron was so I guess we could just Baron was wanting one of these hats just test for residue, right, for forensic testing.
Yep.
Did the FBI and them do any forensic testing on the hats that remain on? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I would assume
I know what I'm guessing though.
Yeah
Sadly.
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. So here goes, obviously, this is Terrell Farnsworth and companion. Terrell's dismounting these cameras right here, the two behind. This is Charlie's chair. But here goes the camera, right? I hope everybody can see that. Zoom in. That is the fallen camera. To the best of my ability to assess what's going on here, this is the fallen camera that we've been looking at, the third camera. Do you have reason to disagree with that?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. I didn't know, but apparently, who is it? Dan Flood? Is he short or something? Because I think he was standing on this. I don't
think he's especially short, but I mean, obviously, everybody's looked short compared to Charlie. But It
That's
seems
true
like
too.
I remember seeing when him and Brian Harpole were talking and everything. I think they were both about the same height.
Yeah, yeah. And just so everybody knows, these timestamps right here, these are screenshots from Adam from Life is Driving video. And so I put the time in there on these shots just so that way, the timeline that we're looking at is correct. And so this is indeed the same set of circumstances we've been examining. But again, looking at this third camera here. So let's go to the next photo real quick. And so the next one I'm going to pull up is going to be looking at, and again, unfortunately, because they pushed Adam from Life is Driving back a little bit, we aren't able to get like a close up after Terrell Farnsworth left. So, but we're gonna check it out here anyways. Let's see. Okay. So here we go. And again, one thing real quick, did you notice, Adam, in that last, like where the camera met the back of the tent, there was like a little bit of like a light there, you know what I mean? You could kind of, where it was like indenting the tent a little bit, and I can pull it.
Oh, yeah.
Here, give me just a second. Let me, we'll look at this and we'll go back. How about we do that? Let's do that.
Okay.
Let me try again. Okay.
Wrong one.
Yeah, some reason it's not letting me zoom in again on that. So let me do this one more time. Okay. There we go. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to zoom in here. And, you can kind of see the bottom of the chair here, the legs. I just don't see the camera right here.
No, I don't think there's a camera sitting there. I feel like we'd see it if it was there.
Yeah, I do too. And so again, just for context for everyone, this is after, and just to give some a little bit additional more context is, when Adam is sitting there filming Terrell when he first gets up on the chair, he has to pan away for a second, or does pan away for a second. And by the time he comes back, the cameras have been taken down from the top. Terrell's putting things in a bag, I think the case for the camera, and and this is the rear camera, right? And so somewhere within this time frame, again, allegedly, a bit of speculation here, somewhere within the time frame when Adam is looking away, I think there's two different times from where Terrell's in and around in the crime scene. Perhaps that's when this larger camera, or this, I say larger, but the camera that was actually on the ground underneath the chair was removed. Because this is, again, there wasn't anything else that we see occur or anyone else in that area in between when we see Terrell starting to take cameras and cards from the point that this picture is taken right here. Does that seem correct to you, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're right on. I'm not going to say whether it's intentional or not.
Yeah, I mean, we can't, obviously. We can't.
Well, what I was going to say is with Adam, Life is Driving, like that's another convenient, shot, I guess, or the lack thereof.
Well, yeah.
It seems like it's always pointed at the right place at the right time or away from.
Well, typically, yeah. But I'll say this, man.
He got some good stuff, though.
Yeah, getting caught on camera in the middle of a capital murder scene like that.
Right.
Man, I can put it to you like this. You ain't ever going to catch me in that position in any which way. Right?
Don't matter what kind of camera you got pointed at me.
Yeah. And Joe is like, where's the blood? Yeah. I mean, that's true, Joe. I don't see all the pictures I've seen, at least like of the actual scene. I don't see any. Maybe I take that back. Maybe there are some pictures on a few, show, like, and it's obviously not vivid, like right in your face. A lot of the pictures are screenshots. They're blurry. But I do think that there has been some specks of blood and stuff located in some pictures. Adam, you've seen them?
There's some, there's some pictures. I want to say, maybe Charles McClintock Wilson, isn't that his name? I'm pretty sure some of his pictures got some. There was a pretty good sized spot of blood right there where Charlie was either sitting or laying. But so, I mean, and think you got to remember, since most of us here, I feel like, are convinced that it was not a bullet. You know, if a bullet had hit him, then there would have been, for one, there would have been an exit. But either way, there would have been splatter, you know, spray everywhere. Like it
Yeah.
would have just covered everything.
Yeah.
But since that didn't occur, it more or less, once it made the wound, you know, that piece falls out of there, and then it just kind of dumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not like, I mean, it's not like that, you know, his heart would have just kept pumping it out, you know, because that's not a, you know, what am I trying to say? You know, that, how do words work today? Anyway, basically, like, it would have just drained the blood out of his head. You know, because there's a difference between venous blood, you know, blood out of a vein, or blood out of an artery.
So here is okay. So now we're going to transition real quick to the hats, right? And you know, in the context of Cameragate, right? We're going to be looking at these hats real quick, just to again further show the mishandling of the crime scene, and kind of, as we'll see, disparity in how people in and around this crime scene were treated.
It's just unbelievable to me that they allowed somebody to walk up and steal a hat. I just cannot believe that. I mean, that tells you at that point that crime scene is not locked down.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, I can say as a
what time is that? How long after is that?
You know, I don't know for sure, to be quite honest with you. I have to admit that, but you know, judging by what we see around, it looks to be like pretty much in the immediate aftermath, like immediate aftermath.
I mean, it's got to be at least 4 or 5 minutes out, though, doesn't it?
I would say less than that, because I want when Adam from Life is Driving comes down to the crime scene, I want to say he's down there within a minute and a half, 2 minutes or so. And we can, as a matter of fact, we'll pull it up in a minute. We'll let's look at some of these photos with the hats, and then we can play a little segment of that video just to go back and get a little bit more reference for what we're seeing right now.
Well, I can't remember how long that selfie was that Farnsworth made, but I was thinking that selfie was about a minute or something like that. Now, it might not have been that long either, so I don't know. But yeah, we can check it out.
Here's another one more on it. I just, y'all, and it's every single day I'm seeing something now that's like it's with the crime scene. It just gets worse and worse. All the I don't know what you call it.
Almost
lack of processing, appropriate processing.
I mean, you almost can't call it a crime scene. Maybe the scene of the crime, but you know.
So here we go.
There's a difference between the scene of the crime and a crime scene.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, again, I think this is, the immediate aftermath, because we still have a lot of people in and around here, you know?
Yeah, but you got a cop right there.
Yeah, the police is like getting all in this person's, you know, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that this person wasn't tackled and arrested. I mean, look, guess the
there
point
was more than one that got run off. Like, instead of running them off for grabbing a hat, you know, in my opinion, it would be stop.
Yeah.
You know, give me the hat.
Yeah.
But they don't even do that. They let them walk off with them.
Yeah. It just so people know, like, just being in the vicinity, like this person right here should not be here. And now, you know, on this person here, look, I'm sure that there are instances where they couldn't control that, but you know, my reading of police procedure, and again, conversing with retired police officers on this, is like the first thing they should have done, you know, other than obviously making sure everybody's kind of safe, but like went and got right in front and around this thing and completely protected it until it could be appropriately taken off.
I mean, there's just no excuse for it. I mean, it's not like they're being mobbed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like they're being overrun. Like, they're just literally standing there while these people just mosey around and, you know, pick up what they want. It's just crazy.
Yeah. So let's see. And here, hold on. And it's not funny. I sit here and laugh. Sometimes I have to laugh just because it's very serious, right? I
Crazy.
mean, this is a very, very serious thing, and they took it apparently not that seriously. I mean, just from what I'm looking at, it doesn't seem like these police were really taking this that seriously, or some other thing was going. And we'll talk about that towards the end tonight, or once we get done with this piece. Anyway, I've got some kind of
See, there he
theories.
is running him off, but letting him keep
Yeah,
the hat.
exactly. We didn't see this with Terrell Farnsworth, obviously, right? Didn't
No,
see
but
this.
again, even though he's running him off, which is more than he did for Terrell, he doesn't take the hat back away from him.
Yeah,
He lets
that's
him walk
right.
off with it. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
right. That's right.
Like that is part of the crime scene. That is evidence, you know?
Yeah.
It just kills me. Like, good God. He run the guy off, but didn't take the hat.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Now, real quick, I wanted to also you probably saw this too, Adam. I posted a photo post the other day that shows this, who I believe hold on just a second before I start talking to me. Sorry about that. Getting a little ahead of myself.
It happens. It happens.
All right, hold on. Okay. So okay. So I posted that picture the other day, and this was more or less the picture, except as we'll see in a second, this police officer here, I believe, to be the chief of police, and just the optics of this. Right here we go, is a uniformed police officer. We believe to be the chief of police, which doesn't help the situation out any. Hey, Lizard's with us. What's up, Lizard? Right here. Look, this is
What's up?
and at the time, Terrell, in his companion are, what would be considered in the crime scene manual a witness or bystander, right? Which are people who should not be within this, what I would call the epicenter of the crime scene.
Right. When they shouldn't be in the perimeter of the crime scene.
Yeah. And so, as we'll see in a second, this chief, and you see him right here, he's pulling his walkie-talkie up to his mouth, and we'll listen in a second. He's actually calling in to the to the 911 center to get help to cordon off the crime scene. He's like, get some more agents down here to cordon off the crime scene. So it shows that, like, he has in his mind right now the intention of cordoning off this crime scene, but yet not cordoning off the crime scene, And so again, it just,
what he had in mind was somebody else cordoning off the crime scene, not him.
I guess let me play this real quick, and maybe y'all can hear it whenever he just listen really, really closely to this, because you'll hear it at the end when he walks by. You'll hear him say, "We're cordoning off the crime scene." Did y'all hear him say cordon? You can't hear it that well right here, but did you get a little bit of it? At least the cordon off part. Did you hear it? And
Yeah,
I realized,
okay.
Well, I can tell you what we're going to do is that I went through, and thank you to Barron for pulling up the video where they do the 911 call center.
Yeah, the dispatch.
I went back and listened to all that for a number of reasons, but one of them was to see if I could confirm through the timestamps from Adam's video to the timestamps, and the timestamps on the 911 aren't exact. You can kind of see the minute that these calls.
Yeah, they're not going to line up exactly with the video because.
Yeah, so I let's see real quick. Where did I have that pulled up? Give me just 1 second, y'all. And I know I did it, man. I had it pulled up, and I did not. Let me remove this. Let me pull it up real quick on YouTube, and so I can show y'all. You can hear the actual crime scene or the 911 call center. Give me just 1 second.
There's a lot of gems in that.
There is, man. And I was going through it and trying to take notes, and
that's the gift that keeps on giving.
I would have been there forever.
Yeah. I mean, look, nobody happened to mention that there was a dude in a black Toyota Camry, uh, dressed in all black with a long gun that was going from hospital to hospital searching for the victim.
Yeah,
And nobody thought to report on that.
no doubt. So yeah, it was very interesting. And one of the main things that I was, looking at or listening for, and I'll talk about that too a little bit today. I showed the text exchange between Grunander and his family that was attached to the state's motion oppose or the response to disqualification. And granted, and we'll talk about, I made a little bit of a misstatement because it was very much unintentional. It actually wasn't Grunander that said, "Oh, the shot came from the roof." It was someone else in his family. So again, and it's like, that is even stranger to me. Right. But we'll talk about
how many family members did he have there?
Well, and how well connected are they? That's what I'm wondering. It's like, how did
they're well connected.
It's like these people knew more like in 16 minutes after the incident than most of us know now, apparently.
Yep.
Let's see real quick. My history. I have to look it up. Have you had a chance to listen to the 911 stuff before?
Yes.
And was there anything in there that you found that you were like?
Every time I listen to it, I catch a little something else, but the main things for me were, of course, what you're looking for right now. Talking about the crime scene, him talking about knowing the position,
Mm-hmm.
The guy said that there was a screwdriver there, and he could see the marks from his knees and stuff in the gravel. But then the big ones for me were the another person trying to hang out of the vehicle and by two different separate officers, talking to dispatch. And then the other real big one was about that Zach guy. I can't ever remember his last name, but in the Camry, wearing all black, possibly with a long gun, going from hospital to hospital, searching for the victim. I'm sure being dressed all in black and having a long rifle, he was just really wanting just to, he wanted to know how he was doing, make sure he was good.
So I got it pulled up. Let's see.
It makes you wonder what in the hell is he going to do if he found him though? Is he just going to walk in there and shoot him again or shoot him? Like,
I don't know.
That's so
and then,
weird.
Yeah, we and there was these reports of because that's what I was thinking is that, okay, Grunander must have really been getting up-to-date information because on the police scanner, there were several reports called in, I think 3, reporting a shooter on the roof of some building way north of campus, maybe near the library or something. I haven't, to be quite honest, full disclosure, I haven't mapped it out. But it was also in the context of other cops saying, no, we have a suspect in custody. And so there's kind of mass confusion. Actually, it's chaotic is how
that's exactly what it was intended to be, though. I mean, good and well.
I absolutely think you're right. I think that to the extent George Zinn was, as he claimed, hired
he claimed he got paid, or he was getting paid.
It was pretty effective, right? Pretty effective.
I mean, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they found CP on his phone either.
No. I've always wondered that. It's like, did he really intentionally have that there? Was it something that was remotely inserted there or,
So a lot of these patsies, that is exactly how they become patsies. You get the FBI or whatever, one of the agencies that is monitoring for these types of things. If they want somebody to do something, I mean, they know who they have something on. Mm-hmm. So if they know that he's looking at that kind of thing or has that kind of thing, tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey, dude, we know what you've been looking at. So we need you to do something.
And
then still end up taking him to jail after he does the deed.
Yeah, well, in those situations too, Adam, is that everyone's aware of how people like that are handled inside
Oh
of the
yeah.
jails and
Oh yeah.
prisons.
No, they
Right?
could
So,
really use that against,
yeah,
like as far as trying to convince somebody.
yeah,
But the thing about it is it makes the perfect patsy because one, you've got something really good to hold over their head or threaten them,
hmm
blackmail them with. At the same time, that when it's all said and done, that you can also put them away with it
hmm
and keep them from being out in front of
yeah.
the cameras.
Unless their last name starts with an E and ends with an N, and
Yeah,
Palm Beach, Florida.
exactly. Then that's all that is a one-way ticket to Tel Aviv.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I'm gonna play this little clip real quick. I think I've got it patched to where we might hear one or two call-ins real quick, but just pay very much attention because it's real. It's near the start here.
I don't have a lot of money, so that's all I can pay is attention.
Your channel is tasked with 3-day maintenance with 3-day dispatch.
Yeah, boy. Any of these officers responded to area, so we cordoned off this 15.
Okay, did y'all hear that? Well, we'll listen to it one more time. It's
What's going on?
What's going on?
Your channel is tasked with 3-day maintenance with 3-day dispatch.
Yeah, boy. Any of these officers responded to area, so we cordoned off this 15.
So that's when, when he's walking around the barricades there with his walkie-talkie up to his mouth, like as he's walking in front of the camera, like that's exactly what he's saying as soon as he like kind of gets on the other side of Adam's camera. So I just wanted to show that to everybody, just to confirm that was actually him calling into 911, exactly what he said about cording off the crime scene. Again, in the overall context of having Terrell Farnsworth sitting right there in the middle of the scene, and about to actually move that chair that Charlie was sitting in. So yeah, I just wanted to show that. So I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that comment by Rick saying that blackmailing Tyler Robinson's a possibility too. I mean, I'd say there's a really good possibility.
Well,
a lot of these patsies, it seems like it ends up coming down to that a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because look, they were heavy into Discord, and I'm not saying everybody that's in Discord is that way, but there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on in those Discord chats. So, I mean, like, they very easily could have had him on some nasty stuff that, he didn't want out, and said, hey, we got it now. What are you going to do? We need a favor. We need you and your grandpappy's gun to be here at a certain time. Leave it out there in the woods, because the shooter's going to pick it up, and you go be a lookout on the roof.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened to a guy that came to the crime scene the next day to take pictures inside.
There he is.
This is what happened to him. Now he got, again, he was arrested.
What is he wearing?
It looks to me like he's like maybe a nursing student or a nurse.
That's what I was fixing to ask, as if he was.
They said it was a lab coat, but to me it kind of looks like a graduation gown or something almost. I'm not real sure. They say it's a lab coat, and so this was. And now I have his. I'm going to look this up now. I see that I have his name. I'm going to see what happened. But he was arrested on suspicion of obstruction of justice and trespass. And allegedly he was taking pictures inside of the crime scene tape, the main crime scene, as they were entitling it. Wow. I guess it became the main scene after everything, after everybody picked what they could, and now it's going to be the main crime scene. But this is what happened to him. Yeah.
That's crazy. This is way off subject, but look at that guy's beard. The guy in the looks like a dark blue shirt. Am I looking at that right? That's what is that?
I don't know if that's a shadow or if he literally let it grow up that far. It kind of looks like it's his hair. And then it kind of looks like he's got like a buzz cut mullet almost. Man, he is really
Lordy,
styling, dude.
That's just an interesting looking dude. Just saying.
I stepped my game up. Anyways, okay, I just wanted to show that for, again, just context of this is, not everybody got the treatment Terrell Farnsworth and Companion did for sure that day.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess one more before I get done with everything. We'll look at one more. I just wanted to pull back up for just 1 second. The text messages, because I wanted to just clarify for everybody and correct my my misstatement the other day. And I'll tell you what. Let's see. Okay. Okay. There we go. I really like this. I really like StreamYard. I'm
Pretty sweet, ain't it?
Membership. Yeah. So again, everybody, these were the screenshots of text messages that were allegedly between DA Grunander, who's second in line at the Utah County DA's, and then his daughter and other family members are in this, family group text. And the reason why they were attached to this response was to show, they're basically trying to show exactly what knowledge his daughter would have had and whether she was going to, utility as a witness. That was all kind of in controversy. And so Grunander attached these text messages that he had with his daughter. Now, Grunander was allegedly at a conference with the head DA, Jeff Gray, about an hour away. He said in the response that I think it took him about 15 minutes and then he headed that way. So I think it was about an hour and a half he would have been there. Now, these are obviously, we have timestamps. So we know, here, this first one, it's kind of blurry, but it's like 12:25. So this would have been 2 minutes after the event. And we keep going down. And this is what really tipped me off. It says shooter was on the roof, and this is 12:39. And my mistake, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. That's why I'm rectifying it here. I thought that was Grunander that sent that text, but it's whited out. Whereas, dad, which is Grunander, is not. So I apologize for overlooking that. But, but then I sat and thought about it, and I'm like, well, how did this other family member know more than the DA and the daughter that was actually there at the time? And so to me, it's kind of even more mysterious a bit. And then here is Grunander's text here at the bottom. It says, I am getting live information, but I can't share it right now. And that was, I believe, at 12:49. 12:49. Yeah, about 12:49. And then I went back up here. And so I don't know if this is the same person that texts down here that, shooter was on the roof. It's blurred out, but it says, whoever, my uncle said he was in the roof. I know he probably meant on the roof. And so, yeah. So again, I'm just sitting there wondering, 16 minutes after this incident, obviously, when we were listening to the 911 traffic, there was some calls stating that there might have been a shooter on a way north rooftop.
Well, now, if you'll remember, there was at least one or two college kids that were out there filming, recording, and pointed out somebody laying prone up there. So, I mean, it's a possibility that could have been where it came from. I don't know where they were in relation to that kid, but I do remember at least one.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely were. And again, there were calls into the call center. I guess my kind of point here is that Grunander, it seems like this was connected through law enforcement somehow. I guess what I'm getting at. Again, I don't know that. It just seems very suspicious.
Seems kind of
to me.
Suspicious.
Yeah. Because it just and by the way, so this looks like actually 12:41, and still this was before, right, that the officer that they speak of in the information that found Tyler's spot, I want to say that happened approximately 22 minutes or so after.
And I mean, he's getting these live updates, and I know he says I can't share right now, but I mean, he might not have put it in that text thread, but there's a good chance he was probably doing a little extra sharing.
Do you imagine that he would, he said shooters on the roof. What's your opinion? Do you think that if Grunander would have gotten other information that wasn't correct, do you think that he would have probably said, "Oh no, that's not correct"? I mean,
Right.
so, but I got the time here. It was okay. Yeah, 22 minutes is when the officer, who I believe is mentioned in the information, is finding, coming up on where the Losee Center. About 22 minutes is where he notified them that, hey, I think I have a possible sniper position here. Help me come clear the Losee Center. It's basically
Right.
what was said.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Where'd you go?
Sorry about that. I did. I
I
had
was
one
feeling
one
lonely
fumble.
there.
One fumble. So man, I
Uh,
think for tonight, that's all about all I had for right now for tonight. I
yeah, I
am
mean,
still doing my analysis as far as the treatment of the crime scene and putting my timeline together in regards to that. But one thing I wanted to talk to you about is this whole deal with Candace and just the
oh
ramping
God.
up of attacks against her, and obviously by implication, us. Now it seems that, and here's one
Crazy.
thing: it's like the difference between us really talking about the circumstances in and around the incident, stuff like that, versus her talking about Erica Kirk, really seem to drive a lot of the I guess right wing or otherwise conservative commentators. What are your thoughts or viewpoint
I
perspective on
mean,
that one?
there's a lot of people on the right that are 100% behind her. I mean, it's literally certain ones. I mean, and you
Yeah.
can just automatically start calling them off. Cat Turd, of course, is the first one. I mean, you got Cat Turd, you got Brandon Tatum, you got Graham Allen, you got, all that. So, and speaking of which, while I'm thinking about it, I don't know if did I send you the link for that video, that guy on YouTube that made the video talking about Graham Allen?
You did. I have not had a chance. I've been swamped
Well,
busy today.
this will
I'll take a
mean
look tonight.
well, this will mean a whole lot more to you after you watch that video. But
Yes.
when you
Okay.
watch that video, I reached out to him,
Okay.
and he's going to come on. He's going to come on with me, so he's going to
Okay.
come on the show.
And
So I'm really excited about that. Maybe get a few more details.
okay.
You
And
know,
what's he got to what's he speaking of?
So he was just talking about he knows Graham from way back, like back when they were in the service, and he talked about how he tried to funny business to try to get the $20,000 sign-on bonus when he signed up, and told about several lies that Graham told to get him to sign up. Things that were just absolutely not true. But then, not only that, I guess Graham went after his girlfriend. I think dude had to go to work one night, and then Graham went straight to his girlfriend's and told her that he had gone to see some other girl. And I mean, like it. So pretty much, he was just saying that he's not as he always acts so holier than thou.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there was a whole lot more. There was a whole lot more than that. I mean, the video is almost 2 hours long, but so yeah. Anyway, he
You
said
sent me
he's
some
coming on.
timestamps though, huh?
Let's see. Did I?
Yeah, I think you did. You sent me some
Yeah.
timestamps to look at.
Yep.
Okay.
So anyway, I just happened to think of that. So everybody be watching for that. It'll probably be fairly soon too.
Yeah. I one thing I'll say is I absolutely support everything Candace is doing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely support her, right? In the context of the larger investigation, I guess I'm a little lost on where we're going as far as how this is going to connect. I mean, I take this. Obviously Erica's past and all that certainly reflects on, does she have the capacity to be involved?
I've got a pretty good idea.
Okay.
For one though, this is one thing about Candace that a lot of people love and appreciate, and it's one thing that I do love and appreciate. If she had just come out and said, okay, she was here, she was there, she did this, she didn't do that, that'd be one thing. But when you spend 3 episodes so far, going that far back and digging that deep into things, you know, and not even yet tying everything together. But when she does connect those dots, I mean, I think it's going to be really hard to refute.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, she's not one to just scratch at the surface level.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why either I mean, obviously I think she lies, but certain things it seems like she says, like it is so weird that she can't remember her anniversary. It's so weird that she can't remember her kid's birthday.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I think that Candace is trying to, by the time the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and everything, I believe she's going to show that there is a good reason for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Circle back around. Yeah. And I have faith in that.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I've been kind of just directly involved. And again, you know, admittedly, you know, looking at the crime scene handling and all the evidence and circumstances surrounding it, you know, obviously that's kind of been my forte because it bears so much on the court proceeding. And I guess just where I'm at, right? For me, where I'm at looking at stuff that seems a little far away and remote. I mean, I'm still digging into it and watching it. And, you know, I do have faith that obviously at the end, it's going to come around and connect up.
I've watched all of them. I mean, I've watched all three of them, but I can just tell you right now, I plan on for sure at least watching all three of them one more time because it is pretty deep and it's not something that most people can just, you know, absorb all in one setting in real time.
Yeah.
But now the other part of it is a lot of this going into this history, she is proving without a shadow of a doubt that it is absolutely not true that she was raised by a single mother that, you know, struggled until she, you know, entrepreneured herself into one business. And so she's I know she's seems to be a little far out there, but I believe it'll come together.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell they you know, her investigation, obviously they put a lot of time and effort. She's got a team involved in this and, you know, she's bringing out facts and, you know,
she's showing receipts for everything that she's saying.
Yeah. And, you know, with that being said, if there's a counterfactual narrative, like, well, let's go ahead and see what those are. And instead, you know, and what's funny is that a lot of these commentators who've been out here really, in my opinion, emotionally manipulating the public on all kinds of different issues, right? Like, and now they're starting to get in their emotions and making crazy decisions and saying crazy things. And
Dan Bongino, did you see that absolute meltdown crash out? I mean, my God. And this is supposed to be the big, you know, chill Secret Service, you know, always got it under control. You know what I mean? And my God, but look though, listen, I mean, it just amazes me because all of these people are screaming at the top of their lungs and not one single, unless I've missed it. And hey, if you've caught somewhere, please tell me about it. But not one single person has even addressed any of her points at all.
Well, exactly.
It is evil. She's the devil, you know, Satan reincarnate. Yeah. I mean, like, has anybody addressed any of the issues that she's bringing up?
No. And, you know, again, it's appealing to, you know, a great way for, and I'm going to make a long video about this, but, you know, politicians, these commentators, you know, that's what they do whenever they can't fight you with the facts, right? Whether we're talking about a policy or anything, it's appeal to the emotion. And they know that most of Candace's fans and other people are conservative, they're Christian. And so how do you emotionally get those people to turn against somebody? Well, you appeal to things like the devil and being evil in these things. And what they're trying to do is get people into their emotions and out of their logical reasoning and thinking mind, because they know when people stay there, they lose.
Well, and hopefully most people are smart enough to see it from the proper, in the proper way. Okay. So they're talking about how evil she is. Okay. Yeah. They're talking about how evil she is because of what she's doing. So far, what she has brought forward is either irrefutable or nobody has stepped up to refute it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if she keeps coming out with facts and receipts and it's irrefutable,
Mm-hmm.
basically at the end of the day, whether they realize it or not, but what they're saying is she's evil for pointing out all the legit things that have, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all the legit issues. We'll just say issues, you know,
Yeah.
in her lifetime. And, you know, I don't know, but
Well,
that's what it is evil, evil, evil for what? Telling the truth. And
what they're trying to do
explaining.
is pull the widow card, right? They're trying to pull the
Oh, yeah.
widow card. And, you know, obviously the counterpoint to that is, you know, widow, fair enough. And this reminds me, you know, when my mother died, my second year of law school, the school gave me an opportunity to take a year off and then, you know, come back but, you know, no, not me, never. Well, I didn't address my trauma, all that stuff. And addiction ended up biting me in the ass later on. Right.
Yeah.
But I made that choice and had to suffer. Here, she had a choice after this death. Like I had a choice to like withdraw, stay with the kids.
I love it when they say she didn't ask for this.
Oh,
That's one of my favorites.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, for one, she did ask for it. But for two, what it pisses me off so bad when they bring Graham Allen, especially, he does it every time, starts quoting the Bible verses about, you know, protecting the widows and the orphans and stuff. And that's 100% true. But, you know, if you actually look at it in context and actually read what it's trying to say instead of just what those words say, you know, yes, protect the widows and the orphans. That means, you know, don't let them be taken advantage of. If somebody's trying to hurt them or take advantage of the widows and the orphans, step in there, protect them.
Yeah.
It's not saying that if the widow does something wrong, don't call her on it. I mean, they're two totally different things there.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're acting like that's just a get out of jail free card, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, in this instance, right, in you know, in most murder investigations, right, it's usually the wife.
It's always the spouse first.
Who are in the, you know, as far as I know, she's never been subject to any of that from authorities, right? And so no official, as far as we know, has like done an appropriate round of questioning. And, you know, obviously Candace began her whole progression pointing out all these facts in and around the incident that looked very, very suspicious, you know, and then now I guess going back to look at, has she misrepresented herself? These are all things a normal investigator would really do if you think about it.
Well, I mean, look at the FBI always does these psychological profiles, like all these things play in. Even some of the most minute things that you don't think are necessarily related. I mean, a lot of times they are. And, you know, the worst part about it is Eric is off limits, and by extension, I mean, so is everybody else that's in the organization.
Yeah.
And these people, along with, you know, certain nation states, had the most to lose by Charlie being around and the most to gain by him not being around.
Yeah.
And they're all very, very tight with this certain, you know, state.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Nation state.
Yeah. So. Just real quick. Okay. Lady home. She's asking about zooming in on the pictures, the chair, to see if there's a bloody. I don't have any pictures of that chair in my gallery here that we would be able to see the surface well enough. Now there might be other pictures somewhere, but I don't know if anybody, you know, when Terrell took the chair and stepped on it, that's when I think presumably if there were going to be bloody footprints on it, it would be. I don't know if anybody in the, you know, in our sphere has any pictures.
I'm going to go back and check Charles McClintock Wilson. I'm going to check his website.
Okay.
And see. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's him that got some pictures of some blood there where he was either right there by where he was sitting or where he was laying.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it was him that got that. So I'll see if I can't find those.
Yeah. And also we can talk to Allie Top Files. She would probably be another good one I can ask.
Yeah.
She's really done a bunch of really
But
precise
honestly, there
examination.
probably wasn't much of anything on the chair. I mean, if you watched how he was sitting upright and then it hits him and it just kind of gushes out and goes down. I mean, yeah, some got on his shirt, but like I'd say his body would have caught most of it, what didn't hit the ground. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of gushed out and then they took him down off the chair. So, I mean, there might be some on it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
might
Yeah.
not necessarily be a lot on the chair itself.
Yeah, I'll prod my contacts or people that are working with me in this too, and see if there's anything like that. If there is, I'll let y'all know. That would be interesting. Um, yeah, but with the Candace thing, it's in this series obviously is what really struck a chord. And so, obviously we always say that like when they start going off and getting their emotions, like you're over the target. And so I'm
Not
just
even just the
wondering,
series, but the trailer for the series.
yeah, oh, that set them off. That set them off. That set them off. And I'm just wondering, like, hell, she's been talking about, I mean, basically implying in a lot of ways that they were involved in her husband's unaliving, like why is this series going back in her past all of a sudden? Like, oh my God, this is insane.
Well, so I'll
Yeah.
just tell you, just judging by the information that she has and
Yeah.
the receipts that she has, and as deep as she's going into this did not come about in a week. Now, I'd say the last week was dedicated maybe to putting the final touches on it.
Yeah.
This has been going on probably from day one.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these people, probably everybody in that sphere, I'm sure talks. And I mean, they probably have a good idea of some of the people she's been talking to and possibly some of the receipts that she's got. So I would say when this trailer come out and hit, they probably knew where she was headed and that she was going to be able to prove out whatever it was or had a good idea. So I think they knew that it was not going to be good.
So I was looking, and I'm gonna go watch it. And Valhalla was doing a live stream. I think starting right around time we did about the rifle being planted.
Yeah.
Are you aware of the basis of that conversation off the top
Oh
of your
yeah.
head?
Yeah, I watched that. I'm actually tomorrow night. I was planning on going live and just touching on that. Not not going to do a full show directly on
Yeah.
that, but there's been a lot of talk lately about the whole microphone thing again, and at least certain people have been on that. So I don't know. I thought about touching on that again and just going through, and that was one of, I was going to pull some clips from that. But yeah, I mean, he told exactly what he would do if, I mean, he was special forces,
Yeah.
and yeah, he said if it was him, I mean, he would have gotten Tyler and told him, hey, we need your rifle, drop it off in the woods so somebody can grab it and use it. You go up there and be a lookout. And he gets up there, all of a sudden there's a loud bang. He gets scared and he runs.
Yeah. Oh, so Nate's basically advancing a theory of how the rifle got to where it was and how they got it.
How he was the patsy,
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna go check it out this evening.
Yeah. No, it's good. There's lots
Yeah.
of good stuff in it. I got several clips from that I pulled. So yeah, I'm probably going to
Okay.
do that tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
I got to touch on Jesse on Fire. I'm sorry, there was some really revealing clips that I saw, and I've got a feeling that he's either second guessing himself or he doesn't believe it at all, and it's really late in the game for him after doing 4 or 5 episodes that I don't know that he's a true believer.
what
Also,
that he's still alive? Or,
right.
Okay.
And one very interesting thing he says, in there, and this is my whole problem with this, is he says there are only 2 options, just judging by every way everybody's acting and all of the facts that are coming out. There's only 2 options. He said either Charlie faked it and he's still alive, or everybody at TPUSA, including his wife, killed him. And, he said there's no middle ground, and I'm like, okay, well, look at that in the same way, but just from a little bit different angle. So if you're wrong, then your theory totally gets all of them off the hook. It's
Yeah.
giving everybody a pass. Just, Yeah, I'm not sure though that he's a true believer. He seemed like he was kind of backpedaling a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, Lady Homa. I like that name, by the way. Okay, Lady Homa. I went to law school in Oklahoma. She goes, didn't a video show Tyler Robinson jump off the roof after the shot? Yeah,
He
they're alleging
supposedly
it
was
to be,
carrying it with a towel over it, wrapped in a towel when he jumped off the roof.
How could he do that with a rifle stuffed down his pants leg? Well, hey, these are some $1 million questions that we've had, and there's people out here calling us crazy for having them. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Jack Posobiec, I saw he shared on X a post where a guy was proving how he could have snuck it in there like he did. Had it broke down, had the rifle stock down one leg and the action and scope down the other. And he was like, this is it. Look, exactly, his pants. He was even commenting in the video, why could you not find any tighter pants? Like he's wearing these big old baggy pants. Like Tyler Robinson was not wearing tight or loose fitting jeans whenever, those videos and pictures were taken. So
yeah.
I don't think it really proved anything.
As far as the, planting the rifle, obviously we talked I think it was our last stream when we talked about the, discrepancy between the Mauser and the, what the rifle that was shown.
A lot of them.
Yeah. So in terms of what you're saying, Valhalla VFT is saying, I mean, what did we ever reach a resolution as to why or how that is, or is it still just kind of lingering out there?
I mean, so I feel like, and I think what he was insinuating was that there never was a rifle there until the FBI showed up.
Okay.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Tyler donated his gun. Maybe he didn't place it.
Yeah.
Because they had the bomb dogs looking.
Yeah.
And couldn't find it. So if Tyler had placed it, then, it should have been found. So either way, I feel like he was the donor, and he went up on the roof. And then, like I said, dogs looked for it, and it was not found until the FBI showed up.
And Mellow Fish was saying just now that there was a UVU student witness or someone there who said they saw someone on the Losee Center roof, but that they wouldn't have had time for to basically lay down and take the shot.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I was reading.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I'll read it. Let me pull it up. Here I am talking all this stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry. I should have been doing this all the time. A witness, a UVU watched shooter approach position at Losee, but said the shooter did not have time to set and shoot. I didn't know that. I mean, there's just been so many different statements. And
I remember hearing that. Yes. I couldn't point you in the exact direction of that clip or what have you, but I do remember hearing that. There was another one here. Let's see. Where was it at? Okay. Oh, yeah. It says guy on the stairwell had no gun in his jeans, only a huge phone. And yes, that's exactly what I feel like. One of that just reminded me that that video that Posobiec shared on X with the way he had it, the way they had it in there. It worked out perfectly for the butt of the stock being right about there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, look, that's not a phone in his pocket. That's the butt of the stock.
Oh.
And I mean, it did kind of look like it, but I still don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't either. And remember we talked too, is that, with that Mauser, with that large wooden portion of the stock and frame, one, there's no breaking that down. Okay. And two, yeah, I mean, if stuffing that thing down your pants, like, yeah, there's
the way they had it. The way they had it, they just had the butt down in there about to the pocket, and then they had the rest of the stock run under his shirt, like up in here somewhere. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know. They didn't sell me on it.
Yeah. Grammy in Arizona says, Erica is not who she says she is. I'm a widow too and worked for years. And I think Miss Susan's a widow as well. and worked for years in bereavement ministry. Erica's actions have not been normal for a young woman with 2 children whose husband was
Not
just
even
assassinated.
close. Not even
Not even close.
close.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm wondering is like, well, I guess this would be harder to tell. Is that because he's still with us, or is it because she's that cold blooded and cold hearted? What's your pick? What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Combination, maybe.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, did you watch the State of the Union?
No, I mean I've seen some clips
Well,
of
there's
it, man.
clips on there. You should watch the clips, or just
Okay.
just go and find the clips for when Trump recognized Erica, and find the one where he recognizes I can't remember her name, but the Ukrainian girl that got stabbed in the neck in North Carolina. I think it's in Charlotte or something. I don't remember now for sure.
Oh yeah.
Sitting on the train and dude stabbed her in the neck. Yeah. Anyway, her mother was there, and he recognized her. And just look at the difference between the two women.
Mm-hmm.
Like the girl's mother, I mean, you could tell like she was just absolutely devastated. I mean, like she couldn't. You could tell just by looking at the video that she probably couldn't talk if she'd have wanted to. Erica, I'm sorry. She was making these faces like she was just really choking back tears. I'm sorry, but if you watch some videos, tell me if you don't agree. She looks to me like she's choking back a smile more than she's trying to choke back tears.
Yeah.
She just, I think, and I'm not saying that she was smiling because of the Charlie thing per se, but I think she was so enjoying the president of the United States calling her name out and everybody standing up and clapping. She has a thing for that.
Yeah, I can tell that. I do get that feeling for sure that she loves the attention. And we'll say real quick too is like, when we had the defamation law conversation, right? And this is just kind of talking about, what people can expect when they do certain things. And with her coming out into the spotlight, taking over TPUSA, one of the largest, pretty much a political action committee, but, largest politically oriented nonprofits, like, she is what we would consider an all-purpose public figure. Okay. Meaning that pretty much, because in defamation, like if you're just in the public for one issue, one thing, right? Like, people who then try to go in your private life and go after you, you could have a claim for some of that. But with like Erica, an all-purpose,
when you're a public figure, it's almost impossible.
Yeah,
because the issue is not so. No, okay. So the law still says that you can't defame them, but it's what the actual definition, when you get down to the nitty gritty, what that means. It's not that you can't say something negative about a person, but when you state something negative for it to be considered defamation, they have to be able to prove that not only did you know that it was not true, but that you had malicious intent. It's not just you can't say something negative. I mean, if that was the case, that'd be a lot different.
That would be the malicious intent. Like basically, like it's either you knew it was false, or you had a pretty good idea that it was false, and then chose to proceed anyways. Yeah, that's
right.
The only
but they
way
have to be able to prove
somebody.
that you knew. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the tough part.
Well, if you had an email in your inbox that told you otherwise,
it could be done. Yes, it could be done. Yes, and I would not recommend for anybody to go out and say a bunch of stuff that they don't know to be fact.
That's right. Absolutely.
But I don't think anything Candace has said. I don't think anything she has said she doesn't believe.
Yeah.
No,
I don't either.
Everybody keeps talking about
so either. No.
Yeah, everybody keeps talking about, I can't wait till they sue her. There's legal action coming. I don't think there is.
I don't think so either. I mean, now that might not mean they don't try, but again, and I've litigated defamation several different occasions, pretty tough cases. Like discovery. It's not going to be an easy case with Erica Kurt.
They don't want the discovery because all of the ugliest issues that they claim, Candace has defamed her on, will be that much uglier when it comes time for discovery.
Yeah. I mean, she's been able to apparently from public records and, talking to witnesses, things like that to get pretty much right. But I'm sure that if Candace had a open discovery line through to get stuff, that she can't find through all that, I mean, yeah, it would. Yeah.
And think about it, she's got all these sources in Turning Point and stuff. Okay. So she's got a bad source. That's not, I mean, she believed her source. So
well, that's
again,
right.
That wouldn't
That's
be
right.
defamation.
Yeah, that's right. Now you made a good point.
So,
there.
yeah, I mean, to me, Candace has never come across as somebody that just makes up stuff for a story. So they would have a really hard time proving their case. And so I feel like some of the stuff that would come out in the process, no matter what the end result was, there'd be a lot of stuff that came out in the process that they probably don't want out.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I did a video talking about, the marketplace of ideas and the First Amendment, right? And
I was in there on that one.
Bongino's meltdown. It's like in the marketplace of ideas, Candace is whoop and Bongino's whoop. And then what we saw the other day is like the fallout from all that. You know what I mean? And I hate to, I really think that Dan Bongino's really going through some stuff, man. And
look at him. He looks like shit.
Yeah. I mean,
look how bad he looks. He's lost weight or something.
Yeah. He's, I hate to, I hope he gets better for whatever he's going through.
I do too.
But, he's
probably,
a human being too, but he went out of line, in my opinion. He was way out of line.
Way out of line.
How he was the other day.
It's probably eating at him because, he was so outspoken and so, hardcore. And then when he went in there, it was either, I mean, he found out just how swampy the swamp is, and he couldn't do anything about it. And after saying all that stuff, and the bad part about it is if he would have turned around day one, instead of sitting there looking like somebody had a gun shoved in his ribs and saying he killed himself, I've seen the file. If instead of doing that, he was like, you know what, I'm out, I can't do this, people would have had a whole lot more respect for him.
Yeah.
But the problem is he waited till he completely shot his credibility, and then tries to come back, and then blames all of it on everybody else. It's not his fault. It's all the black pillars out there,
And sometimes I wonder, did he take that job to try to up his social media cred? Do you think that
work?
It had the opposite effect, right? He totally.
I mean, if he would have got a jaywalker in handcuffs or something, maybe that would have helped a little bit. But I don't.
And Cash Patel at the U.S. hockey team over there partying it up.
Oh my God, that was so. Talk about cringe.
Yeah. Yeah, man,
terrible.
Else. Well, we're about at running an hour and a half. I've been a long day for me. Probably shut it down. But any parting thoughts, Adam? You got anything that you want to mention? Oh yeah, everybody, please go subscribe to the Adam Tom's podcast. He's incredible. Yes. Obviously, if you haven't, in Theogenic Esquire.
Yes, and make another account so you can subscribe twice. Oh, I was going to say, make you another account so you can subscribe twice.
Yeah. And thank you everybody for the support for both of us. We're really enjoying it, and expect more in the future. Both of us. I'll be with Black Line Brief tomorrow night. For anyone who's interested.
You didn't tell me about that.
Oh yeah, we just scheduled it. Maybe last night we got it scheduled. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna do some tomorrow night with him. And then on Sunday,
I talked to Allie.
Oh, did you?
I talked to Allie today. She's wanting us all three to jump on.
Well, maybe we should, man. Let's maybe this next week get together and have a conversation and see what.
I hope she didn't want to keep that a secret.
Oh well, it's that's kind of hard in these parts.
Right.
And then Sunday, I've got a guy, John, who's a little bit out of our, our sphere in the YouTube thing, but we're going to be talking about the two-tier justice or the multi-tier justice system Sunday night. So I'm going to be live streamed out, but so for the, I'll post a thing for y'all if y'all are interested. So, but I'll probably put in the lives down for a few days after that one.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, just want to make that announcement for me.
I'm looking forward to that with Allie. I'll tell you what, she's something.
Yeah,
else.
Dude.
She can dig. Man. She can dig some stuff up now.
She can. She can. Yeah. Well, all right.
Well,
Well, thank everybody. Thank you, Adam. Man, good thing. And I'll be back tomorrow. Adam, you gonna do something tomorrow? You said.
yeah. So I'll be going live. Hopefully, you just have to hit the notification bell so you can know exactly. But I'm going to shoot for between 8 and 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
It just depends on what else is on, who else is
Yeah.
going. You know.
I think Blackline and I won't be on till 9. So
I might try to do it at 8 then, because I
Okay.
think I'll be probably about an hour or so.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Adam, it's good to see you, brother. Thank you, everybody
You
who
too.
showed up and supported. And let's keep this. Yeah. Subscribe, hit the like, get that algorithm going for me and for Adam. Much appreciated. And I will see everybody tomorrow, man. Thank y'all.
All right, buddy. We'll talk
All
to
right,
you.
brother. All right, brother. Peace.
See you.